then we will talk all things NFL scheduling, everything that you should have looked out for when the NFL schedules came out last night. Of course, I'm pissed off because the Ravens have a really tough schedule yet again. The Ravens are playing 3 out of the 4 first weeks of the season against playoff teams. It's an absolute disaster. And then they don't really have they play the Browns week 2. Then the Ravens don't have to play another divisional rival until the end of the season when they play their division like the entire last half of the year. I'm mad. I also am 100% going to the Ravens game on Thanksgiving because I've done it before. Grandma in Baltimore makes me Thanksgiving lunch. Then we go to the game, we tailgate, we get another Thanksgiving, and then we go inside for the game. Whoo! Ravens Bengals is a good time. But anyway, I'm sure he's going to give me a little crap for whatever I talk about Ravens. I'm bringing on my good friend who our roles are reversed now. He always asks me to come in when I'm in Vegas to VSiN. Now, Circa's VP of Operations, the great, the legendary Mike Palm is joining the show. Let me make sure I don't mess this up. What's going on?
Hello, Queen. How are you?
I'm great. I'm so honored to have you on the show. Thanks so much.
I'm honored to be invited, Ariel.
Oh, thank you. Jessica Brand is really excited. She does a lot of sports betting research for me, and she worked at MLB Network with me as well. She was super pumped that I said that you were coming on the show today because it's like we love Circa on this show. You guys are sharp.
Thank you. We appreciate it. We work hard to get that reputation.
No, I absolutely love it. Okay, NFL scheduling. It came out yesterday. This is like your bread and butter. This is everything. We need all NFL content. So in the last 24 hours, which team was hit the hardest?
But we don't put out our win totals until the schedule gets released. And then the guys posted them last night. And many people will say, well, why don't you post them after the draft? We actually feel the schedule has more to do with the amount of games a team wins in a particular. Just certain scheduling spots that are more difficult than others, and you don't know the certainty of exactly every team that is going to play, and you're looking for order and you're looking for travel. So I think the team we adjusted the most was actually the Vikings, and we're not adjusting the number of wins. We're going to adjust the juice that we posted on. We had Vikings 8.5 before we knew the schedule going out, 15 to the under, minus 105 to the over. And we adjusted it based off what we thought was a favorable schedule for the Vikings in a couple regards. Games, but those were supposed to be road games. So they're only playing 7 true road games instead of 9, which the NFC teams play this year. And they said, oh, they have to play back-to-back international games. Well, yes, but it's Dublin to London. It's not like they're going from Spain to Morocco or something like that. It's a very short trip. So they will have the advantage in the second week over the team coming from North America. So, and then the other thing was in those outdoor true road games in the cold weather cities, they got those earlier on in the year instead of later on in the year. They get to go to Soldier Field on opening week, right? The Monday night game. They don't have that game in late December, late November or December. So we thought the schedule was favorable to the Vikings. We moved the juice to favor the over. Now the public's going to tell us, right? The bettors are going to tell us where the numbers should be. Everybody thinks the opening number is the most important thing in bookmaking. Ariel, it's not. It's not. It's maybe not in the top 5 things. It's how you move based on the money that makes you a good bookmaker or not. So we want to throw it out there. And we'll take a little bit of money and move the numbers around pretty quickly now, at least move the juice. And then what we started out a few years ago, now other books do, then give the alternate totals. So if you have a really strong opinion on a team, play under the low and play over the high and get 2-1 back on your money.
Oh, I love that. I mean, it's true, but I am a little concerned about the Vikings just from the quarterback perspective because we're getting a quarterback who was coming off injury, is very young. Any concern there when booking those numbers for him?
Well, certainly they have the highest variable in the NFC North because of McCarthy. He's the key player in the whole division, really. But right, Kevin O'Connell has put all his eggs in this basket. Now, two surgeries, and Rodgers is hanging out there, what, waiting to see how does JJ's knee look? Because if it doesn't look good, we're going to pay you. But if it does, we're only going to give you backup money. And in that case, he'll go to Pittsburgh. I mean, they're sort of holding the Steelers ransom if that's the other choice for Rodgers. But yeah, there's a variability there. I know a couple very sharp NFL bettors that are making large wagers on Vikings under this year.
I mean, again, that quarterback uncertainty for sure, which is what makes it so hard to book the AFC North when you don't really know what's going on with the Pittsburgh Steelers. How do you approach the AFC North?
Well, Cincinnati has all their payroll in three offensive players. So if they can score 53 points a game, they'll be okay. Because they're going to give up 49, Ariel. So I mean, there's a variable there. I mean, I don't think anybody feels very comfortable that the Browns are going to be as competitive they have been in recent years. By default, your Baltimore Ravens should win the division. I don't think it's no longer the strongest division in the NFL where it was for a few years back. I mean, everybody's win total was over 9, and it was ludicrous. And now it looks like the NFC North is probably that division. You could make some arguments if you think Dallas got better, the Giants should be somewhat better. And you've got the defending Super Bowl champs and a much improved Commanders team in the NFC East. You could make an argument in the NFL. Another team we were very interested in, and the schedule was sort of neutral though, is Denver. We've seen some sharp money on the Broncos over. Even seen some money on Broncos to win the AFC West. So I think, again, it comes down to, does Bo Nix take a step forward in his second year, or is it that sophomore slump? But they've put together a very nice roster around him out there in Denver. Think about this is a team that gave up 70 points to the Dolphins, less than 2 years ago. And they put a lot of nice pieces together, especially on the defensive side of the ball. So I think they're a very interesting team as well. For me, I've only made future bets on one team, and that was the Rams. Because I never believed they were going to part ways with Matthew Stafford. I never believed that. He's still a top 5 quarterback, Ariel. And so when they were still plus 210 to win the West, I took a stab 30-1 on them to win the Super Bowl. Obviously, those numbers have come down and they've settled into favoritism. San Francisco's a polarizing team for bettors. Some people are going to continue to fade them, which they did to great success last year. Others think that there's going to be a rebound. I'm not sure, but I don't think they can measure up to the Rams, who, let's face it, if they were able to block Jalen Carter on second down with 30 seconds to go in that game in Philadelphia, we might be talking about the Rams having been in the Super Bowl instead of the Eagles.
Yeah, no, it's a great point. And the Rams have a ton of experience. They have a great head coach in Sean McVay. That West is really interesting too, because you still have to book some, like the Cardinals were a team I know that people were interested with Kyler Murray and what was going to happen to him last year. And obviously that team falls off, but great points about the West. I have to go and look at those win totals that you guys just posted. When it comes to these international games, like you mentioned, the international games, you've got some new locations, Madrid, Berlin, Dublin. How do you book them in new locations?
I have to tell you, it's very bad for business. People say, oh, it's great for business. You get a 6:30 a.m. game on Sunday out there at the world's largest sports book. Who wants to get up at 6 in the morning after being out on Saturday night?
I don't even want to do 9:30 on the East Coast.
Yeah, not the tourists. They certainly don't want to. So the book, instead of having this big buildup at 8:30, 9 o'clock for that 10 a.m. kick, you've got, usually these are bad games because we don't send the best teams over there, right? They're the middle to bottom teams. They seem, anecdotally, they don't ever seem to be very aesthetically pleasing or entertaining games. I think they kill the vibe. I think Goodell has to stop with all this international nonsense, trying to spread this to the world. I get what they're doing. They're trying to breed talent in these other countries that are interested in youth in America playing football because of the CTE issues, right? So, I mean, I think they're trying to be proactive. The players hate it. The media hates it. Nobody wants to go. The people in London don't care. I mean, you look at them. They're wearing jerseys of the team's not even playing. I once asked Nigel Seeley, I said, has Jacksonville now built up a following in London because they play there every year. He came back the next week on Beast and he said, I checked with every person that runs a shop in London that sells apparel, and there's been a total of 12 Jacksonville Jaguars jerseys. Who cares? Nobody cares. The people in Germany, they just want to go and smoke at the games. They don't know what's going on. Maybe Brazil likes it. Why did they play the Packers 1,000 seats? They have 90,000 seat stadiums. They're definitely afraid that it'll look like it's empty. It's a bust. It's enough. Do your one or two games. They're going to be in Australia playing on a Tuesday next year, I think. Enough, Goodell. Enough already.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, now we know how you really feel about this. So should we just blindly be betting unders on these terrible games?
I didn't catch that, Ariel.
Oh, I said, should we just be blindly betting unders then on all these games if they're so bad?
Well, yeah, but then Jacksonville gives up and the Bears score 38 points. And it's hard to say. There was one good game, I think, last year. Jets Vikings
Yeah.
was a good game because the Jets had the second half comeback. But like Giants in Carolina was terrible. That took a lot of survivor people out too. I mean, these games just generally are boring. And it always looks like they're sleepwalking through the first half because of the jet lag.
I always am like under or nothing, and I usually never bet props on those games because they are just atrocious. Week 1, though, everyone's going to be super pumped, Mike, about week 1. Obviously, we have a lot of games posted, if not all of them. Where have you seen any of these, like any sharp action come in early?
Getting good action on this Vikings Bears Monday night game. We opened at Bears 1. It got up to 1.5, back to 1 to 1.5. So we're seeing that game's probably been bet. I'm really interested where this Eagles game, the opener on Thursday night, will end up. People tell me they think this game will be 5.5 or 6. Um, it's usually a showcase for that defending Super Bowl champion to show out, right? They get the home game, and for many years it's a tradition. They play very well there. So I think Kansas City catches a break, and that they play in Brazil against the Chargers. It's a division game. It's the only division game of the international game, so they don't have to play 3 true road division games. I mean, I think that's a huge advantage as well. Not that SoFi is a big home field. There may be more Chiefs fans there
No, but the
than
Chargers are the
Chargers.
one team that really plays them well all the time.
They do. They're always good games, even when we think the Chargers aren't any good. They come down to something in the fourth quarter, and they've been able to go in there and win in Kansas City.
Yeah.
So where Denver has just not been competitive with the Chiefs in the rivalry, and every once in a while the Raiders will come up with a win, but it has been the Chargers that have pushed them heads up.
Switching sports real quick, how disappointed were you guys, or were you thrilled that the Vegas Golden Knights lost last night?
Well, we're not thrilled that the home team loses, but it eliminates a lot of liability for us that we have every year on the Golden Knights, because the folks in Las Vegas have for the entirety of their 7 seasons always they bet them every game. They bet the over, they bet the puck line, they bet them to win the Pacific, to win the West, and to win the Stanley Cup. So that does eliminate some liability. But here in Las Vegas, we can now turn our eyes to the Aces as the WNBA season is starting here this weekend.
That's true. I can't wait, though, for you guys to get a baseball team. I'm super pumped about you guys getting that.
The Aces?
So? It's going to be so
You're
much
super
fun.
excited for the
I'm going to go.
It's a good thing they're building the stadium as small as allowed by Major League Baseball, right? You're going to have to sell a lot of corporate sponsorships to get people to go in these seats, unless that product gets
Maybe
better.
they'll
Now
have
they've been the
Vegas
Road
luck.
Warriors this year. No, I doubt that. Has the Raiders had Vegas luck? The A's are very good on the road. 14-8 on the road, but only 8-13. And listen to the players chirping about that Sutter Health Field, that they have to play 81 games in a AAA park.
We lost you. We lost your audio. What'd you say there about complaining?
I said these A's are all chirping now about they hate that Sutter Health Park in Sacramento. They can't believe they have to play 81 games there. But they loved it playing at Oakland Alameda County Stadium in front of 3,000 people every day, where you had to put black garbage bags on the upper decks. I mean, come on.
Well,
Enough
they have to
already.
walk. Their clubhouse is not attached to the stadium, so they have to walk far.
They're lucky they're in Major League Baseball. Let's just put it that way. All right. They could be in the Pacific Coast League.
Oh, well, yeah, I covered that league. I've covered a lot of crazy leagues. NBA and NHL like playoffs tonight. Anything stand out?
I think all these series are decided in the NHL. I think Carolina closes it on the road. Um, the NBA is very interesting. Yeah, I have a ticket on the T Wolves. I'm not sure if OKC wins this series, and I don't know that it's over yet. That I should hedge or not. I know I wouldn't if it was Denver, because Minnesota is built to beat Denver. The Pacers, I talked about this last week, where the Pacers were still 16-1 to win the title. Of course, before Tatum gets hurt and before they win game four. Now it's still 8.5-1. I think it's viable. I think everybody just thinks if the Knicks beat the Celtics, the Knicks are going to roll to the final. I say not so fast. So I think the NBA, I think the final four in both NHL and NBA will be very compelling. I wanted to get your take on DeGrom versus Hunter Brown tonight in Texas.
Unders on both strikeout props.
Oh, really?
Yeah, unders on both. I'm sure I'll end up going 1-1, but I'm gonna bet both unders. Just because neither team's striking out that much recently, and both these pitchers against the low K rate teams. I like DeGrom better just because he's gone under in 3 of 4 against low K rate lineups this year. Hunter Brown is really freaking good no matter who he's facing. He could strike out 8 to 9 batters in any matchup. But he's on the road. And the Rangers haven't been hitting well at home this year. The Rangers are averaging the 4th least runs per game at home, Mike.
Well, I know you wouldn't be over on Brown because you poo-pooed my Brown Cy Young ticket at 22-1, and now he's 4-1. But he doesn't have the name recognition. He
He
doesn't.
doesn't.
All he's done is going out there and had a quality start almost every time, though. So we'll
Yeah,
see
and
tonight.
guess what? He's still not going to win Cy Young.
You he, well,
No, we lost you. You froze. You back?
am I back?
Yeah.
I said the market tells you he's got a much better shot than when I bet the ticket, so I've got some value there.
Hey, listen, I think it's great. I like Hunter Brown. I hope for your sake that you completely prove me wrong. But if there is another pitcher out there in the American League who's got the name recognition, it's a loser. It's a storyline play. It's a story. Shawn Michaels said Scuba minus 140. Is he going back to back?
He had a rough outing last night. Didn't look sharp last night. He's had some bumps in the road, although I think the Tigers are the best team in the American League.
Hey, that's my division winner right there. AL Central winners. I couldn't believe that they had longer odds than the Royals. But I don't know why everyone booked the Twins to be favored to win that division. I thought that was silly.
Yeah, it's they didn't do anything in the offseason either, and they finished just out
Third.
last year. But meanwhile, they what is it, 11 in a row now? They can't be beat. Although Correa and Buxton collided today, and Correa sort of limped off the field. Both of them are glass, so that could have a lasting impact on that team.
Mike Palm, VP of Operations over at Circa. I've got to get over there. I've got to get to Barry's. I haven't been to Barry's since the Super Bowl last year, so I owe you guys a visit. Thank you for coming on. I know you're super busy, especially this time of year. Appreciate you. And thanks. Hopefully I see you soon.
Thanks,